Well, in the previous video, I used a spreadsheet to graph this data and find a line of fit. But in this video, I'm going to do it on our TI-84 calculator, and we're going to do find a line of regression, graph the scatter plot, and then use the line of regression to estimate some data out in the future. Of course, here we got data ranging in the years from 2000 to 2008, and we're going to make an estimate out at 2015. So let's jump over here to the calculator and begin our work there. So we're going to want to do a scatter plot based on some data, find a line of regression, and then make an estimate. And so first thing I want to do is probably turn on my stat plot. So I'm going to hit second y equals, which takes me to the stat plot. And I'm going to turn it on. So I got stat plot 1, and I click the on button. And when it's blinking and highlighted like that, I know it's on. And then I'm going to choose the type. And this first type right here where it's blinking, you can see that it would be a scatter plot. So I'm going to choose it. Okay, and now I've got to enter my data. So I'm going to hit the stat button, highlighted in red, and I'm going to choose edit, and it's going to take me to a couple of lists, and I want to clear it. I went up to the top to where it says L1 is highlighted, and I hit clear, and then move down, and now I can enter my data. So I'm going to take the years first. So I got 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, and 2008. And now I'm going over here to L2, and we're going to enter the data that we had here. So in 2000, we got 13,000, or 13 million really, 215,000 of CD sales. Can you believe people did that at one time now that you're all in the streaming world? 12,909, 12,044, 11,233, 11,447. Had a year jumped up, didn't they? 10,520. 9,373. 7,452. And then lastly, 5,471. Okay, so I got my data. And now I want to see the plot on the graph. But ordinarily my window settings, in fact, let's go look at my window settings. See, they're set to default, -10, 10. And I got some awful big numbers in my list. So I'm going to hit zoom, and I'm going to hit stat. Zoom stat. I want to get these statistics. Option 9 down there. Zoom stat, and there you see I've got my scatter plot. Now it's got a negative correlation, obviously, but now we're going to find a line of fit or a linear regression. So I'm going to hit stat again. This time I'm going to arrow over here to calc, and I'm going to choose option 4, linear regression, AX plus B. Kind of looks like slope intercept, doesn't it? Rather than MX plus B, it's AX plus B. I'm going to choose option 4. And then I'm just going to go and enter through. Whoop, I'm going to take it back up. I want L1. So I got second. Let me hit second 1 for L1. So I want my X-axis to be the years. I want my Y-axis to be CD sales, L2. And there I've got a linear regression. And if I were to write that out, I would substitute as -890 in for A, and for the y-intercept, this relatively large number here that we've got right there. Okay. Now, what do we want to do here? Oh, I want to go into y equal. And now I'm going to hit something called vars. I'm going to hit vars, and I'm going to hit option 5 for statistics. And arrow over here to equation, EQ. And I want this regression equation, option 1. And so I'm going to hit enter. And it gives me, it enters all of those numbers there that I got in my linear regression into y equal. Now let's go back to the graph, and it should draw a line in there for us. Okay, so it draws a line trying to get as much of the data as close as possible. But lastly, I've got to make an estimate for 2015. Now I need to go look at my window settings for what I want to do. And I see that the X max is just beyond what I entered, 2008.8. And I'm going to change that to, I want to make an estimate for 2015. So I'm going to change this to 2016. And we'll go back to the graph and look at it. And now I'm going to make that estimate. So I'm going to hit second trace, or the calc button. And option 1, value, is what I want to choose. And I'm going to say, what does y equal if x is 2015? And I have to make that window adjustment. If I didn't, I'd get an error message. And I hit enter. And so in 2015, we would expect the CD sales to be 616,000.74. I'm not even sure it was probably that much in 2015. I think streaming services had been prolific much longer than that. But at any rate, based on the data we have, that would have been our prediction. And there you see, doing a scat plot, a linear regression, entering the linear regression using the vars button into the y equal. Adjusting my window setting to make sure that I've got enough room to make a prediction by going into the calc feature and asking for a given value of x, what would y equal? And there we go. I love scatter plots.